Daddy, I held Mom's hand as she died 14 days ago, and all I could think about was this house. Now be a good father one last time, sign it over, and disappear. My daughter smiled as she said this, actually smiled while twisting the pearl necklace I'd given her for her sweet 16. But when my son-in-law added, "Your wife confessed something before she died, old man. She never loved you, just your money," I felt 42 years of love shatter like glass on marble. The pot roast Rosalind taught me to make sat untouched on Serena's plate. My daughter, my baby girl who once made me Father's Day card saying, "World's greatest hero," couldn't even look me in the eye as she twisted her wedding ring like she was winding a watch. Donovan, her husband of 8 years, leaned back in the chair I'd handcrafted when Serena was born, already acting like king of the castle. "Theron," Donovan's voice cut through the silence like a scalpel through flesh, "let's stop pretending. You're 68, Rosalind's dead, this house is too much for one person." I watched my daughter flinch at her mother's name, but she didn't defend her memory. She didn't defend me. "I've managed this house for 28 years, I said, my voice steady despite the earthquake in my chest. "Your mother and I built every memory in these walls." Memories. Don't pay property taxes or maintain 5 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms in Carmel by the sea. You're being selfish, hoarding all this oceanfront property. Selfish? I'd worked double shifts at Wells Fargo headquarters in San Francisco for 30 years to afford this house. Rosalind had planted every hydrangea in that garden while fighting through chemotherapy. We'd painted Serena's nursery together, hung her Stanford graduation photos, hosted her wedding reception on our clifftop terrace. "Where would you have me go?" I asked, looking directly at Serena. She finally met my gaze, and for a moment I saw my little girl, the one who used to beg me to check for monsters under her bed. "There's a nice assisted living facility in Salinas, 1 bedroom, meal service, people your age to keep you company." People my age, as if I needed to be corralled with other widowers, forgotten and filed away like canceled checks. Donovan stood up, his 6-foot frame casting a shadow over Rosalind's china. "Look, Theron, I'll be direct since Serena won't. We need this house. Our condo in San Jose is bleeding us dry. You've had your time here, now it's our turn." "Dad," Serena added quickly, "we'll help you pack. We can have you settled by month's end." The end of the month. 14 days to erase 28 years. I pushed back from the table, my legs surprisingly steady. "I need some air." "Theron," Donovan's voice called after me, his tone shifting to something darker. "This conversation isn't over. One way or another, you're leaving this house. Rosalind's dead, accept it, move on, or we'll make you." I turned at the doorway, looking at these strangers wearing familiar faces. "Is that a threat, son?" Donovan smiled, cold, calculating. "It's a promise. You've got 2 weeks to pack your things and get out. After that, we're moving in whether you're gone or not. And trust me, old man, a confused, grieving widower who can't remember things clearly, judges in Monterey County eat that up in competency hearings." Serena said nothing. She just stared at her plate while her husband threatened to have me declared incompetent. As I walked to my study, I heard Donovan's voice carry through the walls. "Don't worry, baby. Your dad's old and weak. He'll fold. They always do when they realize they're alone. Besides, your mom told you herself she was planning to leave him before she got sick. He's probably relieved she's gone." Alone? Relieved? They had no idea who Theron Blackwood really was, or what Rosalind actually told me before she died. If this story touches your heart, please take a moment to subscribe. Rosalind's last words were, "Don't let them take our home." Help me honor her final wish by sharing this story.
In my study, hidden inside Rosalind's favorite poetry book, I found her final gift, a USB drive labeled, "When Serena Breaks Your Heart, Watch This." The video started with my wife in her hospital bed, smiling despite the pain. "Hello, my love. If you're watching this, our daughter has shown you who she really is. I'm about to show you who she's been all along." My hands shook as I inserted the USB drive into my laptop. Rosalind appeared on screen, frail but fierce, wearing the lavender shawl I'd bought her in Carmel last spring. "My darling Theron," her recorded voice filled the study. "I have stage 4 cancer, but I'm not too sick to protect the man I love. What you're about to see will hurt, but you need to know the truth." The video shifted to hidden camera footage. When had she installed cameras? The timestamp showed 3 weeks ago, while I was at her chemotherapy appointment. Serena and Donovan in our living room, thinking Rosalind was sleeping. "How much longer?" Donovan asked, irritated. "Doctor says 2 weeks, maybe 3, Serena replied, scrolling through her phone. "I already talked to that psychiatrist friend of yours. He'll declare Dad incompetent within days of the funeral." "And the house value?" $3.2 million minimum, maybe more if we market it to tech executives from Silicon Valley. My stomach lurched as the video continued. "Just keep playing the devoted daughter," Donovan instructed. "Cry at the funeral, hold his hand, and strike when he's most vulnerable." Serena laughed, actually laughed. "God, I can't wait to be done pretending I care. 28 years of playing perfect daughter. Do you know how exhausting it's been?" The video shifted to another day. Rosalind's voiceover explained, "This is from last Tuesday, my love. Listen carefully. Serena's on the phone. Mom's finally dying. Yeah, about time, right? Dad's going to be destroyed. He actually loves her. Makes it easier for us. Grief-stricken widowers don't fight back." I paused the video, ran to the bathroom, and vomited until nothing remained but bile and betrayal. When I returned, Rosalind's face filled the screen again. "There's more, sweetheart. But first, look in the bottom drawer, behind the tax files." I found a thick folder labeled Evidence in Rosalind's handwriting. Bank statements showing Serena and Donovan were 9 months behind on their mortgage. Credit reports revealing $134,000 in hidden debt. Screenshots of text messages between them. Dozens, maybe hundreds, planning my removal, my institutionalization, the sale of our home. One text from Donovan made my blood freeze. "Dr. Reeves confirmed he'll sign competency papers. Cost us $5K, but worth it to fast-track the old man to memory care." They'd already paid a doctor to declare me incompetent. The laptop drew my attention back. Rosalind, my beautiful, dying wife, was still talking. "Theron, I've transferred copies of everything to our attorney, Marcus Steinfeld. I've also sent packages to the FBI. Donovan's been embezzling from his tech company, and Serena has been helping him hide it. Check your email. I created a secure account they don't know about." My fingers trembled as I logged into the email she had set up, tblackwood.protected@protonmail.com. Dozens of emails from Rosalind, sent over the past month, each containing more evidence, financial crimes, elder abuse planning, even a recorded conversation where Serena discussed increasing Rosalind's morphine to speed things along. The final email's subject line, "They tried to kill me, my love." Inside, hospital records showing unusual morphine levels in her blood. Security footage of Donovan entering her hospital room at 3 a.m. when no visitors were allowed. A nurse's statement noting irregularities in medication administration. "I'm dying anyway," Rosalind's voice continued from the laptop, "but I won't let them hurt you. I've been pretending to be sicker, more confused, so they'd speak freely. Every word is recorded, every crime documented." She smiled then, that mischievous smile I'd fallen in love with at Berkeley in 1978. "Use everything, my darling. Destroy them. Not for revenge, but for justice. And Theron, check under the loose floorboard in Serena's old room. One final surprise that will change everything." The video ended with her blowing me a kiss. "I love you, Theron Blackwood. I've loved you every day for 42 years. Don't let them take our home. Don't let them win. And remember, I'm still protecting you, even from heaven." I sat in the darkness for an hour, absorbing the magnitude of my wife's final gift. She'd spent her last weeks not just dying, but building me an arsenal. My phone buzzed, a text from Serena. "Dad, I'm so worried about you. This big house, all alone, we should talk about your future." I typed back, "Yes, we should. But first, we'll discuss yours." Then I called Marcus Steinfeld, our attorney for 20 years. Theron, Rosalind said you'd call tonight. I have everything ready. FBI meeting is scheduled tomorrow morning. Are you prepared for what's coming? I looked at Rosalind's photo on my desk, taken last Christmas, both of us laughing at Stinson Beach, unaware that cancer was already growing inside her. I'm ready, I said. Let's give them exactly what they deserve. Rosalind spent her final weeks protecting her husband instead of saying goodbye. If you're still watching, please subscribe in her memory. She deserves to be remembered as the warrior she was.
Mr. Blackwood, your daughter has been stealing from you for 7 years. We have proof. The FBI agent slid photos across the table. Serena at ATMs withdrawing cash from accounts she'd secretly opened in my name. My little girl, who I taught to ride a bike in Golden Gate Park, had been robbing me blind while kissing my cheek every Sunday dinner. The FBI field office in San Francisco felt appropriately cold for the conversation at hand. Special Agent Diana Voss, a woman with eyes that had seen too much, spread evidence across the conference table like tarot cards, revealing a doomed future. Mr. Blackwood, your wife was remarkably thorough. She provided us with enough evidence to prosecute multiple federal crimes. Marcus Steinfeld, my attorney, sat beside me taking notes. Across from us, Agent Voss's partner, Agent Chen, pulled up financial records on his laptop. Let's start with the identity theft, Agent Voss began. Your daughter opened 6 credit cards in your name over the past 7 years. Total debt, $89,000. $89,000? My voice cracked. She used your social security number, forged your signature. The applications were submitted from IP addresses traced to her home in San Jose. Agent Chen turned his screen toward me. She's been making minimum payments to keep them active, but the interest alone is crushing. There's more, Agent Voss continued. The embezzlement from Donovan's company, Next Gen Technologies. He's been siphoning funds for 3 years, $267,000 total. Your daughter created the shell companies to hide the money. Shell companies. My Serena, who couldn't balance her checkbook in college, had become a financial criminal. But here's what triggered federal involvement. Agent Voss pulled out another folder. Elder abuse across state lines. They've been doing this to other elderly parents in Nevada and Oregon. Your daughter and son-in-law are part of a ring targeting wealthy retirees. A ring. Not a desperate couple in financial trouble, but professional criminals. How many victims? Marcus asked. 14 that we've identified so far. Total stolen, approximately $3.4 million. I thought of Serena at 5, sobbing when she accidentally stepped on a butterfly. Daddy, did I kill it? I'm so sorry. Mr. Blackwood, Agent Chen said gently. I know this is difficult, but we need your cooperation to stop them before they destroy more families. I have it, I said firmly. Everything. Full cooperation. Good. We're arresting them tomorrow morning. We wanted you to know first, to be prepared. After the FBI meeting, Marcus drove me to my bank, Wells Fargo, where I'd worked for 30 years. The executive vice president, Harrison Pike, had been my protege. Theron, Harrison stood when we entered his corner office overlooking the bay. I've been expecting you. Rosalind called me 2 weeks ago. She called you? She wanted to ensure your assets were protected. We've already frozen the fraudulent accounts and started recovery procedures. He pulled up screens on his computer. The good news is we can recover most of the stolen funds. The bad news is what else we found. There's more? Your daughter has been slowly poisoning your investment portfolio. Small withdrawals, account manipulation, beneficiary changes. If Rosalind hadn't alerted us, you'd have been bankrupt within 2 years. Bankrupt? They weren't just planning to steal the house, they were orchestrating complete financial destruction. Theron, Harrison leaned forward. I've seen a lot in banking, but this level of calculated cruelty from family? I'm so sorry. That afternoon, I drove to the Carmel house, our sanctuary by the sea. The sun was setting, painting the Pacific in shades of gold and crimson. I stood on the cliff where Rosalind and I had renewed our vows on our 25th anniversary. My phone rang. Serena. Dad, where are you? We came by to check on you. I'm at home.
No, you're not. We're at the house right now. I realized she meant they'd broken in. What are you doing in my house? Our house, Dad, remember? We discussed this. You're confused. Donovan's calling Dr. Reeves now. You need help. Dr. Reeves, the corrupt psychiatrist they'd paid off. Serena, I'm perfectly lucid, and you're trespassing. Dad, you're scaring me. This isn't like you. We're just trying to help. Stop. My voice carried 40 years of authority. I know everything. The credit cards, the embezzlement, the elder abuse ring, the FBI knows too. Silence. Then, barely audible. Dad? You have approximately 12 hours before federal agents arrest you. I suggest you spend them wisely. Dad, wait, I can explain. Explain what? How you plan to have me institutionalized? How you tried to kill your mother with excess morphine? How you've been stealing from elderly victims across 3 states? That's not... Donovan made me... Stop lying, Serena. For once in your life, stop lying. I hung up and turned off my phone. The waves crashed against the cliffs below, eternal and indifferent to human betrayal. Chester, the golden retriever I'd adopted the day after Rosalind's funeral, pressed against my leg. Dogs always know when you need comfort. I told him, tomorrow, everything changes. Tomorrow, justice arrives. The FBI is about to arrest Theron's only child. If you believe parents deserve protection from predatory adult children, please subscribe. Show that elder abuse is never acceptable, even from family.
At 6:47 a.m., I watched from my window as FBI agents surrounded my daughter's $1 million San Jose home, the one she'd bought with stolen money. When they let her out in handcuffs, she looked straight at my car parked across the street. Our eyes met, and she mouthed a single word that shattered what was left of my father's heart. Finally. I'd arrived at 5:30 a.m., parked where I could see everything but remain unnoticed. The neighborhood was the kind of place tech executives lived. Pristine lawns, Tesla in every driveway, the American dream built on stock options and IPOs. The FBI moved with practiced precision. No sirens, no drama, just swift execution of federal warrants. Agent Voss had called me at 5 a.m. We're moving in 2 hours. You don't have to be there. But I did. I needed to see the end of this twisted chapter. Donovan came out first, struggling against the agents, shouting about lawyers and lawsuits, still fighting, still believing his connections could save him. He hadn't seen me yet. Then Serena. She walked out with strange dignity, wearing the silk pajamas I'd bought her last Christmas. When she saw my car, she stopped. The agents paused, perhaps recognizing a moment that transcended their procedures. She mouthed, "Finally," and I understood. Finally caught, finally stopped, finally free from the exhausting performance of being someone she wasn't. My phone buzzed, a text from a number I didn't recognize. "Mr. Blackwood, I'm Astrid Chen, a neighbor. Your daughter gave me this number months ago, said to contact you if anything happened. She also gave me a letter for you. Can we meet?" An hour later, I sat in a Palo Alto coffee shop across from Astrid, a pediatric surgeon who lived next door to Serena. She gave me this 3 months ago, said not to open it, just give it to you if she was ever arrested. I thought she was being dramatic, but my name was written on the envelope in Serena's childhood handwriting, the careful cursive she'd used before everything went wrong. She talked about you constantly, not the way she spoke to Donovan about you, but to me, privately. She said you were the best father anyone could have asked for. Then why? The question escaped before I could stop it. Donovan, Astrid said simply. She met him when she was vulnerable, right after her miscarriage, the one she never told you about. He convinced her that love was manipulation, that family was just a resource to be exploited. She was on antidepressants,
anxious, and he preyed on that. A miscarriage. Another secret. Another pain she'd carried alone. I opened the letter in my car, hands trembling. Daddy, if you're reading this, I've been caught. Good. I need to be stopped because I can't stop myself. Donovan has something on me. Photos, videos from when I was so depressed I did things I'm ashamed of. He's been blackmailing me for 3 years. I know this doesn't excuse what I've done. I chose to hurt you rather than disappoint you with the truth. I chose to betray Mom rather than admit I'd married a monster. I chose wrong every single time. The little girl who loved you is still in here somewhere, Daddy. She's just buried under so much shame and fear that I can't find her anymore. Maybe prison will help me dig her out. I'm sorry. That's not enough, but it's all I have. Your daughter, even though I don't deserve to be, Serena. P.S. Check with Child Protective Services in Sacramento. You have a granddaughter named Luna. She's 3 years old. I've been hiding her to protect her from Donovan. Please save her. A granddaughter, Luna, 3 years old. I drove straight to Sacramento, my lawyer, Marcus, making urgent calls to CPS. By afternoon, I stood in a small office looking at a little girl with Rosalind's eyes and my stubborn chin. Luna, this is your grandfather, the social worker explained gently. Luna looked at me solemnly, then asked, "Are you the grandpa from Mommy's stories, the one who builds fairy houses and knows about stars?" Serena had told her about me. Even while planning to destroy me, she'd been telling her daughter bedtime stories about the grandfather who built fairy houses in the garden and taught her about constellations. "Yes," I managed through tears, "I'm that grandpa." Luna nodded, then held out her hand. "Mommy said if I ever met you, I should ask you to take care of Mr. Whiskers." She held up a stuffed rabbit, worn from love. "She said you'd keep us both safe." 3 hours of paperwork later, Luna was coming home with me to Carmel. She fell asleep in the car, clutching Mr. Whiskers, trusting completely in a grandfather she'd just met because her mother, despite everything, had taught her I was safe. That evening, as Luna slept in what had been Serena's childhood room, I sat in Rosalind's garden watching the sunset. Chester lay beside Luna's bed, already appointed as her guardian. My phone rang. Santa Clara County Jail. I almost didn't answer, then did. "Dad?" Serena's voice was small, broken. "Did you find her? Is Luna safe?" "She's sleeping in your old room. Chester's guarding her." A sob. "Dad, I know I have no right to ask, but please love her the way you loved me before I became this monster." "She's my granddaughter. I'll love her regardless of what you became." "Dad, that word I mouthed when they arrested me, finally, I meant it. I'm so tired of being Donovan's puppet, so tired of hurting you, so tired of being someone Mom would hate." "Your mother didn't hate you, Serena. She loved you enough to document your crimes so you'd face justice rather than become even worse." "She knew it?" "She knew everything, and she still loved you. That's why she made sure you'd be stopped, because she loved who you used to be too much to let you destroy yourself completely." The call ended with Serena sobbing. I sat in the garden until stars appeared, then went inside to check on Luna. She'd kicked off her covers, and I tucked her in again, just as I'd done with Serena 30 years ago. "Grandpa, will you stay?" "Forever, sweetheart. I'll stay forever." A 3-year-old just lost her parents to federal prison, but found a grandfather who loved her unconditionally. If you believe children deserve protection from their parents' crimes, please subscribe and share.
"Grandpa, why is Mommy on TV in orange clothes?" 3-year-old Luna pointed at the news footage of her mother in court, and I had to find words to explain betrayal to a child who still believed in fairy tales. But it was Serena's public confession that broke me. I tortured the man who gave me everything because I was too weak to stand up to the man who gave me nothing but pain. The courtroom in San Francisco was packed with media, victims, and curiosity seekers. I sat in the back row with Marcus, while Luna stayed in Carmel with my neighbor, Mrs. Chen, a retired teacher who'd become our godsend. Serena stood as the judge entered. She had lost weight, her designer facade stripped away, revealing someone haunted and hollow. Donovan sat separately. They'd turned on each other immediately, each trying to minimize their sentence by testifying against the other. "Miss Blackwood," Judge Harrison began, "you're charged with 14 counts of elder abuse, 6 counts of identity theft, conspiracy to commit fraud, and attempted murder. How do you plead?" "Guilty, Your Honor." "To everything." Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Even her public defender looked shocked. "Miss Blackwood, are you certain? You're facing 25 years minimum." "I'm guilty," Serena repeated, louder. She turned to face the gallery, her eyes finding mine. "I stole from my father. I plotted to have him institutionalized. I increased my mother's morphine, hoping to speed her death. I'm guilty of becoming someone my parents wouldn't recognize." "Would you like to make a statement before sentencing?" the judge asked. Serena nodded, pulling out a paper with shaking hands. "I stand here as a warning to others. I had everything: loving parents, financial security, excellent education. My father, Theron Blackwood, gave me opportunities most people dream of. My mother, Rosalind, loved me until her last breath, even while I was plotting against them." She paused, wiping tears. "I chose Donovan Reeves over my family. I chose greed over gratitude. I chose to torture the man who taught me to ride a bike, who stayed up all night when I had nightmares, who worked 2 jobs to pay for my Stanford education." Her voice broke completely. "I have a daughter, Luna. She's 3. My father is raising her now because I'm not fit to be her mother. I pray she grows up to be nothing like me and everything like him. I deserve every day of prison I'm sentenced to. My only request is that my father forgives himself for my choices. This isn't his failure, it's mine." The judge sentenced her to 18 years with possibility of parole in 12. Donovan got 25 years without parole after his attempt to blame everything on Serena backfired when the FBI presented evidence of his blackmail and coercion. As they led Serena away, she looked back once and mouthed, "Thank you." I wasn't sure if she was thanking me for stopping her or for taking Luna. Maybe both. Outside the courthouse, Agent Voss approached me. "Mr. Blackwood, I wanted you to know, the other victims are grateful for your cooperation. Your wife's evidence helped us recover nearly $2 million for other families. Rosalind would be glad to know her final act helped others. There's one more thing. We found something in Donovan's files. Your daughter was telling the truth about the blackmail. He had explicit photos, videos, taken when she was heavily medicated after a suicide attempt 5 years ago. He's been using them to control her." A suicide attempt. Another secret, another cry for help I'd missed. That evening, I sat with Luna on the cliff behind our house, watching whales migrate south. She'd been quiet since seeing her mother on the news, processing in the way children do, slowly, carefully. "Grandpa, is Mommy bad?" How do you explain moral complexity to a 3-year-old? "Your mommy made bad choices, sweetheart, but that doesn't make her all bad. She loves you very much." "Then why did she leave?" "She didn't choose to leave. She has to go away to learn how to make good choices again." Luna considered this, then asked, "Like timeout?" "Yes, sweetheart, like a very long timeout." She nodded, satisfied with this explanation, then pointed at the whales.
Look, Grandpa, babies! A pod of whales with calves heading south together, protecting their young. Nature showing us what family should be. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Mr. Blackwood, I'm Dr. Elizabeth Hartley from the Federal Detention Center. Your daughter has requested therapy, specifically asking to address what she calls toxic attachment disorder. She wants to understand why she destroyed the people who loved her most. I think with work, she could genuinely rehabilitate. Would you consider participating in family counseling via video? I looked at Luna, building a sandcastle with Chester's patient help, and thought about second chances, redemption, and the long road back from betrayal. I'll consider it, I replied, but my priority is my granddaughter. If counseling helps Serena become someone Luna can safely know someday, I'll participate. That night, Luna asked for a bedtime story about Grandma Rose. I told her about the woman who planted a garden that would bloom forever, who loved fiercely and protected even more fiercely, who'd ensured justice even from beyond the grave. Was she magic? Luna asked sleepily. The very best kind, the kind that turns love into legacy. Serena has 18 years to become someone worthy of her daughter's love. If you believe in redemption, earned, not given, please subscribe. Every child deserves to know their parent tried to become better.
6 months after Serena's conviction, I found Luna crying in Rosalind's garden, holding a photo she'd discovered. Her mother and grandmother planting roses together, both laughing, both alive, both unaware of the tragedy ahead. "Grandpa," she asked through tears, "why did everyone leave?" And I had no answer that could heal a 3-year-old's broken heart. The photo was from 2018, before everything went wrong. Rosalind and Serena, dirt on their faces, planting the heritage roses that now bloomed magnificently. They looked so happy, so connected, so much like the mother and daughter I'd believed them to be. "Oh, sweetheart," I knelt beside Luna, pulling her into my arms. "Not everyone left. I'm here. Chester's here. Mrs. Chen is here. But Grandma Rose died, and Mommy went to time out, and Daddy—" She paused, confused about Donovan, who she barely remembered. "Sometimes, Luna, people leave, but love stays. See these roses? Grandma Rose planted them, and they bloom every year, even though she's not here to see them." It was inadequate comfort for a grieving child, but it was all I had. That evening, after Luna was asleep, I sat in my study reviewing the family counseling proposal from Dr. Hartley. 6 months of sessions working toward restorative justice and healing family wounds. My laptop chimed with an email from an unexpected source, Evelyn Winters, a federal prosecutor from the FBI's Elder Abuse Task Force. "Mr. Blackwood, I've been reviewing your case as part of a larger investigation into elder abuse patterns. Your wife's documentation methods have become a training example for the FBI. Would you consider speaking at our national conference about recognizing and preventing family financial exploitation? Also, on a personal note, I lost my father to similar circumstances 5 years ago. My brother manipulated him into signing over everything while he had dementia. Your story gives me hope that justice is possible. If you're ever in Sacramento, I'd love to buy you coffee and compare notes on surviving family betrayal. Best regards, Evelyn Winters." A kindred spirit, someone who understood the particular agony of family becoming predator. I replied that I'd consider the speaking engagement and would indeed enjoy that coffee. 2 weeks later, I sat across from Evelyn at a Sacramento cafe while Luna played at a nearby park with Mrs. Chen watching her. Evelyn was nothing like Rosalind. Where my wife had been soft-spoken and artistic, Evelyn was direct and analytical. But her eyes held the same pain I saw in my mirror each morning. "How do you move past it?" she asked after we'd shared our stories. "The betrayal from someone you raised." "You don't move past it," I admitted. "You build around it,
like a tree growing around a fence. The wound remains, but life continues. Your granddaughter is lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have her. She's teaching me that love can exist after betrayal. We met monthly after that, two wounded souls finding solace in shared understanding. Nothing romantic, neither of us had space for that, but something valuable. Friendship forged in similar fires. Meanwhile, the video counseling sessions with Serena began. Dr. Hartley mediated as my daughter and I faced each other through screens, separated by prison walls and emotional canyons. "Dad," Serena said in our third session, "I need to tell you about the miscarriage, about when everything started to go wrong." She'd lost the baby at 5 months. A little boy. She'd hidden it from everyone except Donovan, who'd used her vulnerability to isolate her from family, convince her that showing weakness was dangerous, that taking from others was strength. I became someone else to survive the pain, and then I couldn't find my way back to who I was. "You could have told us," I said quietly. "We would have helped." "I know that now. But Donovan convinced me you'd be disappointed, that Mom would judge me for getting pregnant before marriage. He rewrote my entire understanding of our family." Session by session, we excavated the ruins of our relationship. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was understanding. Serena was working prison jobs, sending every penny to a restitution fund for victims. She was teaching literacy to other inmates, remembering how I'd taught her to read. "I dream about Mom's garden, about teaching Luna the names of all the roses. Is that foolish?" "That's 12 years away. Minimum." "I know, but it keeps me going. The thought that maybe, someday, I can be the mother she deserves." That night, I found Luna in the garden with Chester, carefully watering the roses with her tiny watering can. "Grandpa, when Mommy comes back from time out, can she help with the flowers?" "Maybe, sweetheart, if she learns how to be gentle again." "No doubt. She'll teach her. Kids are good at teaching." The pure faith of a child, believing that anyone could be taught to be better, that love could be relearned like any other skill. A letter arrived the next day from Donovan's lawyer. He was filing appeals, claiming coercion, demanding custody of Luna from prison. The audacity was breathtaking. Marcus handled it swiftly. He has no parental rights established, and with his criminal record, no judge would even consider it. Still, it reminded me that while Serena was working toward redemption, Donovan remained a threat, even from behind bars. Luna tends her grandmother's roses while her mother counts days in a cell. If you believe children deserve protection and parents deserve chances at redemption, please subscribe and share.
"Mr. Blackwood, there's been an incident at the prison." The call came at 2 a.m., and my heart stopped. But it wasn't what I feared. Serena wasn't hurt. She'd saved another inmate from Donovan's hired attack, taking a shiv meant for a woman who'd testified against him. My daughter, who'd plotted to destroy me, had nearly died protecting a stranger. I drove to the federal medical facility in Dublin, California, through pre-dawn darkness, Luna safely asleep at home with Mrs. Chen. The doctor met me in a sterile waiting room that smelled of disinfectant and despair. "Miss Blackwood has a punctured lung and severe lacerations, but she'll recover," Dr. Martinez explained. "She's conscious and asking for you." Serena lay in a hospital bed, bandaged and pale, looking more fragile than I'd ever seen her. Even during her teenage years, even in her darkest moments, she'd never looked this broken. "Dad, I'm here." "Is Luna okay? Donovan didn't—" "Luna's safe. She's home with Mrs. Chen." Serena relaxed slightly. "I had to stop him. The woman, Patricia Lorse, she has kids. 3 kids. She testified against Donovan's prison drug ring, and he ordered a hit. I couldn't let her children lose their mother." "You nearly died." "Maybe that would be
Justice for what I did to Mom." "No," I said firmly. "Your mother wanted you to find redemption, not death." Agent Voss arrived an hour later with updates. Donovan's prison network had been exposed. He'd been running drugs, ordering hits, continuing his crimes from behind bars. The attempted murder charge would add decades to his sentence. "Your daughter's bravery saved Patricia Morse's life and exposed a massive criminal operation," Agent Voss told me. "The Bureau is recommending sentence reduction consideration." That afternoon, I met Patricia Morse, a small woman with fierce eyes and trembling hands. "Your daughter saved my life," she said simply. "I was in for check fraud. Stupid, desperate decisions. But my kids, they need me. Serena knew that. She stepped between me and the blade." "Why would she do that?" Patricia pulled out a worn photo of 3 children. "Because I showed her this every day, told her about them. She said it reminded her of her own daughter, made her think about what kind of person she wanted to be when she got out." Back in Serena's hospital room, I found her awake, staring at the ceiling. "The counselor says I have a hero complex now, trying to save others because I couldn't save myself from Donovan." "Maybe? Or maybe you're remembering who you were before he poisoned you." "Dad, I need to tell you something about Mom's last day." I tensed. "I went to see her. Alone. Donovan didn't know. She was so weak, but she held my hand and said, 'I know what you're planning, baby. I know you're lost, but your father will find you. He'll save you from yourself.' She knew you were still in there, somewhere. I begged her forgiveness. She said forgiveness would come after justice, that I needed to face consequences to find my way back." Serena looked at me with eyes that finally seemed clear. She was right. Prison saved me. You saved me by letting me fall. 3 weeks later, Serena was back in federal prison, recovering but changed. The attack had elevated her status among inmates. She was someone who'd taken a blade for another mother. It earned her protection and respect. Meanwhile, Luna was growing, asking harder questions. One evening, as we watched pelicans dive for fish, she asked, "Grandpa, will Mommy always be in timeout?" "Not always. Maybe 8 more years if she keeps being good." "That's when I'll be 11. Will she know me?" "I show her pictures. We talk about you in our video calls." "Can I talk to her?" The question I'd been dreading, but Dr. Hartley had said it might help both of them. The first video call between Luna and Serena was heartbreaking. Luna, shy and uncertain. Serena, trying not to sob. "Hi, Mommy." "Hi, baby girl. You've gotten so big. Grandpa says you're learning to make good choices." "I'm trying very hard." "Good, because when you come back, I want to show you my garden. I planted purple flowers for you." After the call, Luna was quiet, processing. Finally, she said, "Mommy looks sad." "She is sad. She misses you." "Then she should come home." "She will, when she's ready, when she's safe." That night, Evelyn Winters called with unexpected news. "Theron, the FBI wants to offer you a position. Consultant for the Elder Abuse Task Force. Part-time, work from home mostly. Your wife's documentation methods have revolutionized how we approach these cases." A job. Purpose beyond raising Luna. A way to honor Rosalind's final fight. I'll do it. 6 months later, I stood before a conference room of FBI agents, teaching them what Rosalind had taught me. Through her death, how to protect the vulnerable from family predators. "The hardest part," I told them, is accepting that sometimes the enemy sleeps in your own home, shares your DNA, knows exactly how to hurt you. But the evidence doesn't lie. Document everything. Trust patterns, not promises. Luna came with me to some conferences, charming agents with her stories about Chester and the whales. She became the unofficial mascot of the Elder Abuse Task Force, a reminder of why the work mattered, protecting the innocent from the fallout of family crimes. Serena took a blade meant for another mother. Luna tends a garden for a mother she barely knows. If you believe in redemption earned through sacrifice, please subscribe and share this story of justice and hope.
8 years later, I stood at the prison gates at 6 a.m., holding Luna's hand as she clutched the bouquet of purple flowers she'd grown herself. When the doors opened and Serena walked out, thin, gray-streaked, but with clear eyes, Luna didn't run to her. Instead, my 11-year-old daughter looked up at me and asked, "Grandpa, is it okay to love someone who hurt you?" And I finally had an answer. "Yes," I told Luna, squeezing her hand gently. "It's okay to love someone who hurt you, as long as they've truly changed and you protect yourself." Serena stopped 10 feet away, respecting the distance Luna needed. 8 years of model behavior had earned her early release. 8 years of therapy, restitution payments, teaching literacy, and one act of heroism that nearly killed her. "Hi, Luna," she said softly. "You're so beautiful." Luna stepped forward slowly, extending the flowers. "I grew these myself. Grandpa taught me. They're called lupines. They can grow in difficult soil." Serena accepted the flowers with shaking hands. "Like people, maybe? Growing in difficult circumstances?" "Maybe," Luna said carefully. "Grandpa says you're different now." "I am, but you don't have to believe that right away. Trust is earned." We drove back to Carmel in relative silence, Luna sitting between us in the back of my Tesla. Chester's daughter, Duchess, Chester had passed 2 years ago, resting her head on Luna's lap. Serena stared out the window at the Pacific Coast Highway, seeing freedom for the first time in nearly a decade. "The house looks the same," she whispered as we pulled into the driveway. "The outside does. The inside is changed." What had been her room was now Luna's. The formal dining room where she'd ambushed me was now my FBI consultation office. Rosalind's garden had tripled in size, with Luna's additions and a greenhouse I'd built for year-round growing. "Where will I stay?" Serena asked. "The garage apartment. It's furnished, private. You need space to readjust, and Luna needs time to know you." She nodded, understanding the boundaries. That evening, as I cooked dinner, something I'd mastered in the years alone, Serena sat at the kitchen island while Luna did homework. "Algebra already?" asked Serena. "I'm in advanced classes," Luna said proudly. "Grandpa says I get my math brain from Grandma Rose. She was an accountant before she had you." "I didn't know that," Serena admitted. "There's so much I didn't know about Mom." After Luna went to bed, Serena and I sat in the garden, the same spot where Rosalind and I planned our future decades ago. "Does she know everything?" asked Serena. "Age-appropriate versions. She knows you made bad choices that hurt people. She knows prison was consequence and rehabilitation. She knows Donovan will never be released." Donovan had been sentenced to life after the attempted murder charge. He'd tried to contact Luna repeatedly,
but restraining orders and federal intervention had stopped him. Dad, I need to tell you something. I've been offered a job. The Federal Bureau of Prisons wants me to counsel inmates on financial crimes and elder abuse. It's in Sacramento, close enough to visit but far enough to give everyone space. That's good, Serena. Purpose helps. I'll never forgive myself for Mom, for what I put you through. I'm not asking you to forgive yourself. I'm asking you to honor your mother's memory by becoming someone worthy of Luna's love. Weeks turned to months. Serena started her job, driving up weekends to slowly build a relationship with Luna. They gardened together, Serena learning what she'd once known but forgotten: patience, nurturing, the slow growth of trust. Evelyn Winters, who'd become a close friend and eventual partner, though we maintained separate homes, helped navigate the complicated dynamics. Luna's remarkable, she told me one evening as we watched grandmother and granddaughter plant winter vegetables. She's cautious, but open. You've raised her well. Rosalind raised her through me, I corrected. Everything I know about love, I learned from her. The breakthrough came 6 months later. Luna had gotten sick at school, nothing serious, just a stomach bug, but she'd asked for her mom. Not me, not Mrs. Chen, but Serena. Serena had driven from Sacramento in record time, held Luna's hair while she was sick, and sung the same lullabies I'd sung to Serena decades ago. She knew the songs, Luna told me later, wondrous. The same ones you sang. I sang them to her when she was little. Before she made bad choices? Yes. When she was just my little girl who needed comfort. Luna thought about this. Maybe inside, she's still that little girl, just in a grown-up body with grown-up consequences. The wisdom of children. A year after Serena's release, we held a memorial for Rosalind on what would have been her 70th birthday. Friends, neighbors, even Agent Voss came to honor the woman who protected others even while dying. Serena spoke last, her voice steady.
My mother knew I'd lost my way. Instead of enabling me, she documented my crimes and ensured I'd face justice. That's the deepest love, loving someone enough to let them face consequences. She saved me by refusing to save me from myself. I'm here, free, rebuilding, because she loved me enough to let me fall and trusted Dad to help me get back up when I was ready. Luna placed a bouquet of Rosalind's favorite roses on the memorial stone we'd placed in the garden. Thank you, Grandma Rose, for protecting Grandpa so he could protect me. That evening, as the sun set over the Pacific, I stood in the garden Rosalind had started, surrounded by the family she'd never quite given up on. Serena and Luna were looking at photo albums, carefully rebuilding their connection. Evelyn was inside, preparing dinner with Mrs. Chen. You did it, Rosalind, I whispered to the roses. You saved us all. My phone buzzed with a message from the FBI conference coordinator. Mr. Blackwood, your presentation on family financial fraud has been requested by 47 field offices. Your wife's legacy is protecting thousands of elderly Americans. Thank you for sharing your story. I looked at the house that had almost been stolen, the garden that had witnessed betrayal and redemption, the granddaughter who'd grown up knowing that love must be earned and trust must be protected. Serena appeared beside me. Dad, thank you for raising Luna, for letting me come back, for showing me that consequences aren't punishment, they're the path back to who we're supposed to be. You're welcome, I said simply.
Now, go help your daughter with her science project. It's about genetics, and she has questions about inherited traits versus learned behaviors. She laughed, the first genuine laugh I'd heard from her in over a decade. Nature versus nurture? In this family? That's a complicated question. The best questions always are. As she walked back to the house, I saw it clearly. Not forgiveness, not yet, maybe never completely, but something else, peace. The peace that comes from justice served, redemption earned, and love rebuilt on foundations of truth rather than pretense. Rosalind was right in her final letter. Life continues after betrayal. Love exists beyond loss. And sometimes, just sometimes, the family that breaks apart can reassemble into something stronger. Not the same, but perhaps more honest, more intentional, more aware of its own fragility, and therefore more precious. If Theron and Rosalind's story touched your heart, please subscribe and share it with everyone who needs to know that betrayal doesn't have to be the end. Every parent who's been deceived, every grandparent raising grandchildren, every person who's learned that family must be chosen daily, not just inherited, deserves to hear this story. Because somewhere out there, someone needs to know that exile can become exodus, that justice can lead to redemption, and that the family who abandons you might, just might, find their way back, not to what was, but to what could be. Rosalind Blackwood died protecting her family from itself. Honor her memory. Subscribe now, share this story, and remember, love isn't just inherited, it's chosen, protected, and sometimes reborn.